What if a lake remembered every soul it claimed? Tonight, they told me never to visit that lake. Dive in, carefully. It starts in the backwoods of northern Michigan, summer 2023, mosquito-thick air and bonfire smoke. I'm talking about Riley Thompson, 26, a freelance photographer from Detroit, all wanderlust and Nikon slung over her shoulder. Burned out from urban shoots, she craved raw nature for her next portfolio. Scrolling Reddit's IR hiking, she stumbled on Whispering Lake, crystal-clear gem hidden in the Porcupine Mountains, off-grid paradise per posts. But buried in comments, steer clear after dark, old-timers say it hungers. Riley chuckled. Superstition, right? She booked a solo campsite, packed her tent, cooler of craft beers, and hit the dirt roads in her Subaru. Windows down to that Neil Young tape. By noon, she crested the trailhead, lake sparkling like a sapphire trap. Perfect, she breathed, snapping her first frame. Locals at the ranger station? Silent stares, one grizzled vet muttering, "Girl, turn back." First afternoon blurred into bliss. Riley pitched her tent on a pebbled shore, the lake lapping gentle like a lullaby. She waded in, cool silk to her knees, shooting macro bubbles and minnow schools darting silver. Dusk painted the sky bruise purple. She grilled trout over a whisper of flames, journal open to scribble haikus about solitude's embrace. But as stars pricked out, the water shifted. A low hum, not wind, subtle vibrations underfoot like distant thunder trapped beneath. She shook it off, zipped into her sleeping bag, earbuds piping lo-fi beats. Midnight jolted her, splashes rhythmic, too deliberate for fish. Peering out, flashlight beam caught ripples, concentric, centering on nothing. Deer drinking, she rationalized, heart thumping uneven. Back to sleep, but dreams drowned her, hands from depths, cold fingers tracing her name in silt. Dawn rinsed the unease. Riley kayaked out, paddle slicing mirror-smooth surface, eagle overhead hurting thermals. Underwater shots via GoPro revealed emerald depths, ancient logs like sunken thrones. Lunch was trail mix on a boulder throne, overlooking the far shore's sheer cliffs. Rusted no trespassing chain dangling from a dock ruin. Curiosity nagged. Locals' warnings echoed faint. Hiking the perimeter, she found it. Weathered signpost half buried in ferns. Whispering Lake. Drownings 1892-1905. Stay ashore. Faded etchings of 7 names. Last a child. Chills spidered her spine. She snapped it for aesthetic, but the lens fogged, clearing to her own face. Eyes hollow, mouth bubbling silent plea. "Glitch!" she hissed, trudging back as wind picked up, carrying murmurs like half-forgotten songs. Word from the world crept in via spotty signal. Text from her brother Nate, a burly mechanic back home, pinged. "Heard about that lake from Dad's fishing buddies. Bad juju, sis. Come home." Riley fired back memes, but doubt seated. Evening. She built a bigger fire, flames dancing tall toward shadows. S'mores sticky. She scrolled old news clips on her phone. 1900s typhoid scare. No drownings clustered, victims pulled under by unseen force, bodies surfacing days later, faces serene as sleep. One article, yellow digital. The Whisperers, lake spirits of lost loggers calling kin to join. Ridiculous. But as embers died, the hum returned, closer, forming words. "Riley, come swim." She froze, s'more ash on lips, scanning black water. Nothing. Just her reflection in the fire's glow, smiling wrong. Nate's worry escalated. He drove up next dawn, his F-150 rumbling gravel like judgment. 32, broad-shouldered with that brotherly scowl. He hugged fierce, then paced the shore, boots crunching shells. "This place reeks of bad news. Pack up." Riley resisted, stubborn artist streak dragging him on a proof hike to debunk. They canoed to the dock ruins, vines throttling iron like veins. Nate pried a loose plank. Inside, sodden journal, pages bloated. 1904 entries from Elias Crow, logger foreman. "The lake sings at night, names of the fallen. It wants more to balance the scales." Nate paled. Riley pocketed a brittle page, but as they pushed off, water churned, bubbles rising furious, kayak rocking. "A hand, no, just current." Back at camp, Nate whispered. "I hear it too. Your name, over and over." Brother-sister bond tightened the noose. They stayed 2 nights trading watches. Nate shotgun by fire, Riley patrolling with pepper spray. Whispers evolved, not random but dialogues. Elias's gravelly tales of mill accidents, victims' pleas for release. One pre-dawn, Nate shook her. Saw shapes under the surface, people walking the bottom. She dismissed as fatigue, but her GoPro footage glitched. Frames of submerged figures, faces pressed to ceiling, mouths open in eternal breath hold. Paranoia bonded them closer, shared whiskey, laughs brittle over s'mores. But the lake pressed, fish beached gasping at their feet, etched with tiny hands. Nate carved wards into trees, crosses from Dad's lore, but bark wept sap like blood by morning. "It's marking us," he growled. Riley nodded, camera heavy as guilt. External pressure mounted. Ranger swung by, uniform crisp, eyes haunted, delivering mail. Riley's exhibit invite, but envelope sodden, postmark, return to sender drowned. Creepy coincidence? They laughed manic, but that eve storm brewed, thunder growling lakeward. Huddled in the tent, rain lashing canvas like accusations, whispers drowned the downpour. Chorus of names, theirs woven in. Lightning forked. Nate bolted out, yelling at shadows. Riley followed, barefoot in mud, spotting it. Lantern bobbing mid-lake, no boat. A voice, clear as glass. "Join the choir, Riley." She waded knee-deep, trance-pulled, till Nate yanked her back, both tumbling soaked. Journal page in her pocket dissolved to pulp, ink spelling soon on her skin. Resolve cracked. Nate radioed for evac, signal faint, but chopper couldn't navigate fog rolling unnatural thick. Stranded, they fortified. Salt lines from snack packs, prayers half remembered. Riley's dreams merged. She walked lake-bottom boulevards. Loggers in chains building phantom dams beckoning her to fix the breach. Waking, she'd find wet footprints trailing her sleeping bag. Small, child's. Nate confessed visions. Dad's face underwater, waving from '98 fishing mishap, unspoken grief surfacing. They burned the journal remnants at noon, smoke twisting into shapes, hands pleading. Ash settled on water, ripples forming their initials. It's not ghosts, Riley realized, voice ash dry. It's the lake itself, alive, lonely, collecting breaths to fill its silence. Nate nodded, packing frantic. But dusk called stronger. Isolation fermented madness. Power bars dwindled. They fished wary, hooks returning empty but threaded with hair. Human, varying shades. Whispers personalized. Riley's ex's laugh bubbling up. Nate's lost dog's whine. One twilight, exploring cliffs, they found the choir cave. Grotto etched with petroglyphs. Pre-logger. Ojibwe warnings of Mishipeshu, the underwater lynx guardian who drowns the heedless. Inside, echo chamber amplified lake song, full orchestra of submerged screams. Nate slipped on moss, leg twisting, pain real, but water at cave mouth rose sudden, tendrils of foam snaking to claim. Riley hauled him out, both gasping, clothes heavy with unseen weight. Back at camp, his wound wept clear fluid, lake water tasting of copper and regret. Fever claimed Nate by full moon. Delirium raved. It's balancing. Every log we cut, a soul to weight the scales. Riley force-fed broth, but his eyes rolled white, murmuring Ojibwe snatched from dreams. Alone in vigil, she heard her own voice from depths, future echo, warning past self. Don't come. Desperation birthed plan. Drown the guardian's token. Scouring shore, she unearthed a lynx head amulet in silt. Bronze, eye sapphires like drowned stars. Nate, lucid flicker, nodded. Sink it deep with our blood. Storm renewed. She kayaked out. Amulet chained to wrist, slicing palm for crimson offering. Water boiled response. Waves clawing hull, whispers hurricane. Stay. She dove, amulet dragging, lungs burning as hands, cold, insistent, tugged her down. Climax submerged literal. Depths crushed, visions assault. Loggers building, Ojibwe shamans chanting banishment. Lynx prowling silt throne. Hands swarmed. Dozens, centuries pulling her to the choir. Faces in eternal tableau, mouths frozen mid-song. She thrashed, amulet pulsing hot. Blood clouding to ink the guardian's eyes. A roar. Subaquatic bone-shaking rippled release. Hands recoiled, lynx form coiling pained. Lungs screamed. She kicked surfaceward, breaking air and gasp. Kayak splintered driftwood. Hauling to shore, Nate stirred, fever-broken, wound-scabbed salt. Lake-stilled mirror flat, hum silenced. But as they collapsed, water lapped their feet. Gentle now, whispering thanks, or promise of return. Dawn judged merciful. They broke camp hasty. Subaru fleeing dust plume. Nate drove silent, radio static hissing faint melodies. Town doc patched him. Lucky scrape. But Riley's GoPro, salvaged, played back. Frames of the choir dispersing. Faces dissolving to silt. Elias last, nodding gratitude. News trickled. Lake levels dropped, exposing bones identified reburied proper. They vowed silence, but scars lingered. Nate's limp on rainy days, Riley's dives now pool-bound. Months on, exhibit opened. Whispering Lake series, viral for ethereal dread. Buyers whispered back. Felt it watching. One night, her Brooklyn sink dripped. Clear, but humming low. She unplugged, heart stutter. The lake remembered. Its song etched in veins. Echoes pursued nomadic. Riley's next gig, Adirondack Streams, safe waters. But prints from the series sold haunted. Owners reporting wet dreams, whispers in bathrooms. Nate settled ranch life, but cattle shied from stock ponds lowing at moons. Reunion Christmas, shared chills over eggnog. Toasting survivors. Yet a gift, her old journal. Water warped, open to new page. It waits for the warned. Ojibwe elder contacted via exhibit fame. Mishipeshu sleeps, but wakes for the bold. You fed it respect. It spares. Till next imbalance, they burned the journal ashes to wind. But Riley's latest role, accidental self-portrait, eyes sapphire gleam, mouth curved in submerged smile. The lake called home. Now they carried its tide. So next trail temps, heed the warnings. Lakes keep secrets that pull you under. Sleep shallow, folks. More chills soon.